Guitar chords video. 101, take one. Oof. Take one in a second. Hello, my name is Alan. I'm a guitar teacher at Settlement Music School, and I wanted to make this video for brand new players and brand new students to get started with chord progressions. So let's make sure we're in tune. So I'm going to take my electronic tuner, just run it real quick. Oh, yeah. There we go. Might use that a little bit. All right. So I'm going to play this chord progression for you, and it might sound familiar. I want to see what you think. So we go. Yeah, I'm curious if you've heard something like that before. I picked it because there have been lots of popular songs made with this progression and this sort of progression. So if we learn it, we will potentially have lots of new songs we can play. So, okay, we call this a 1-6-4-5 progression because each chord is based on the scale note of that number. It's okay if that part seems confusing. I think the important thing is learning how to play it, and we can come back to this idea eventually when we are ready. But yeah, so this is going to be in the key of G. So our 1 is going to be G. Our 6 is going to be 6 notes away. G, A, B, C, D, E. So in this case, it's E minor. Then we need a C, or 4. G, A, B, C. And then a D7 is going to be our 5. G, A, B, C, D. So if you noticed, I'm using very small chords. This is my way into chord playing for people. We use tiny versions. Typically, a guitar player uses very large versions, but that's I think that's a little bit hard to start. So we're going to start with these tiny versions. If we can get them, I think it'll give us some success and motivation, and the big ones won't be far behind. So we have to learn how to first play each of those chords and a little bit about guitar technique to make this happen. So we're going to learn a G first, but we're going to talk about left hand technique to make that G easy to play. So basically, with your left hand, you want to play with very, very curved fingers, and you're pressing down on the very tip of them. So if you can try, even without the guitar, see if you can make that shape with your hand. It's your fingers very curved. Now see if you can make this shape. That's the shape you don't want. So that's a collapsed knuckle. That is a strong C-shaped knuckle. So collapse it, make it strong. Get that feeling. Collapsed knuckle and strong. Okay, cool. So I'm going to use that to hold down a certain fret on my highest string in pitch, but it's also the lowest string in physical space. So it's my E. I'm going and I'm finding that very high string, and that's the one we're gonna play. So we want to take that curved ring finger and we want to place it down on the 3rd fret of that high E string. So this is fret number 1, fret number 2, fret number 3. So my ring finger is going to hold that fret down, really, really curved. And it's going to be right next to the metal. That's where the best sound comes from, right here. It's clear and rings like a bell. If you're not close to that metal, it's going to crackle and buzz. So we want to be right up there. Practice a few times playing that buzz sound, and then bring it back to a clear bell-like sound. Cool. So our other technique points that make this possible are my palm is not touching my guitar like this. So you want your palm to be a little bit away from your guitar. I call that mouse hole space. There's enough space in your hand to hold a small mouse. And your thumb is not hooked over. So my thumb is behind my guitar, or sorry, on the back of my neck, behind my pointer finger, right there. It's not pressing hard at all. But like I said, if some of these things are too tricky for now, we can totally come and pick them back up. Okay, cool. So with that, all that stuff together, we're playing that third fret. Now, I'm going to use my thumb for this to do a strum, but if you want to play with a pick, that's okay too. You want to hold your pick so it's perpendicular to your thumb. So when you play, the pointy part of the pick is pointing at your body. I'm just going to use my thumb though, but it's the same thing. It's either down with the pick or down with the thumb. So I'm going to find my third highest string and just touch it with my thumb. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Let me see if I can move back and you can see that better. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, right there. So if my left hand finger is still holding that note and I quickly brush my thumb downward and over these 3 strings, I have a G chord. So that's my first one. So we got a G. And that's all there is to that G. I would try to play it a few times, lift your hand up, see if you can get back to it. Don't even worry about time, just worry about hand position. Like, can I get to that chord? Is my finger curved? Am I by that middle? Yeah, cool. Try to get a few of those G's coming out. If that sounds good, we're gonna try the E minor next. It's super easy. So all you have to do is lift up your finger and play those 3 strings open. No fingers held down. So you do the same thing with your right hand thumb. Just like that. So I want you to try to go from your G to your E minor. Now you're not holding anything down, but you don't want to drop your arm. You don't want to bring your hand over here and rest. Even though you're holding nothing down, because soon you're going to be back on that G. So ideally, you have your ring finger down and slightly lifted up for G. So you can go back and forth. Don't worry about the time. Just see if you can get that G and then get the E minor. If you can get that feeling good, we're going to try to add a count to this. So we're going to count to 4. And we're going to play the G on the first time we say 1, and then we're going to play the E minor on the second time we say 1, and then we're going to keep doing this a few times, just to get the hang of switching our chords. So, it should sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. We need a C now. So C's a little harder than G, I'm not gonna lie. We have to use a pointer for C, and we have to be really curved. If we weren't so curved for G, it's not really gonna affect the sound of the chord. But if we're not super curved for the C, we're not gonna hear every note that we wanna hear. So to make a C, we have to go from holding down a note on the high E to holding down a note on the second string or B. So that high string is E, string number 1, we have to go to string number 2, B, and we have to go to fret number 1. And we have to be super curved. If we're not curved, we're gonna block that high E. Hear that? It's not good. So I'm gonna curve my finger even more, just on the very tip of it, and now I can play that high E. You can test yourself by playing the string you're holding down, and then play the high E, and make sure you can hear them both clearly. Cool. If that sounds clear, then all you have to do is add the open third string and strum it just like before. And that's your basic C. Cool. Try try the same thing. Try to lift your finger up and bring it back. See if you can get that C happening a few times in a row. If that sounds good, then we have to practice the change from E minor going into C now. So the E minor is easy. We got that open string, or 3 open strings. And the next thing is getting our pointer finger on that first fret. So let's take a few practices just trying that chord change freely. Don't worry about time. If you're playing in time, that's cool too, though. Cool. And again, when you lift up, you don't want to take your hand away. You want to stay in that area. Okay, awesome. So let's add the time. So this time, it's the same thing. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4, and play the E minor on one, and then play C on the next one. So I'll start this. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. E minor. 2, 3, 4. C. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, awesome. So, which brings us to the D7. That's the hardest chord in this mix. That's actually the shape of a full-size chord for later too. So that one's going to stick around. So to get the D7, we actually need all 3 of our fingers. So if we were curving well with the ring finger and curving well with our pointer finger, we should be in good shape at this point. So we're going to start with that pointer finger down as if we're playing a C chord. Yeah. So we take our ring finger on our left hand and we place that on the 2nd fret of our high E string. Now we're keeping those 2 fingers down. We're going to take our middle finger and place it on the 2nd fret of our G string, our 3rd string down. So let's count 1, 2, 3, and fret number 1, 2 right here. So this is a hard one. So I want you to try to play each note individually. Make sure everything sounds as clear as it can. So we want to hear. Yeah, that's hard. Most people, when they start this chord, it ends up sounding like this. So you get some dead notes up top. So you want to work with this one to try to get your palm away from the guitar and your fingers as curved as possible and close to that middle if you can. Until it starts to sound clear. Try stick on that for a little while. Just try to get that sound. Cool. Now we have to work on changing from C into that D7. So our pointer finger is gonna stay where it is. So we have to work on lifting these 2 fingers up and then putting them down. My suggestion is to try it without your right hand. Just to try this for a few passes. We're down, you lift up, you come back down. Be careful not to squeeze too hard doing all of this. Your hand should be remaining soft, so I'm lifting up, coming down. Once that starts to feel okay, like if you can land where you need to land, I would start to bring in my right hand and try some free switching back and forth. So there's my C, here's my D7. A few more. Cool. I played the open D. You can play the open D with that one if you want, if you know what that is. That's your 4th string down. Okay, so let's add the tempo to this one too. So another 4 count. We're gonna go C for 4 and then D7 for 4. So that same switch. I'll try a few of these in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. that's every chord in the progression, but we still need to practice the final chord in the progression, going back to the first chord. So that's that D7 to the G. So same thing as before. We're going to play your D7. It still might take a minute to get there. This is not an easy chord. So we got our D7. And then we're going to go to our G by sliding up a ring finger. It's never going to leave the fretboard. We slide up. So it stays on the fretboard and we slide down. So we have a completely different thing our hand has to do to get from the G to the D7 than from the C to the D7. So this was C to D7. The G, we have to slide our finger back and put our pointer and middle down in the right spots. That's tricky too. So we're gonna go, we're gonna do a bunch of free changes again between these two to see if we can just get the sound and the change right. So we're gonna go G, and you don't have to sync up with me. Like if you want to write this down or remember this process, I think that's gonna be important. So just going back and forth. I'm not counting beats. There to here. Okay, that sounds good. We're gonna do one more time with the count. So we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To your G. 1, 2, 3. One more time. D7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Notice we don't have any real rhythmic stuff to play yet. If we don't get our left hand in order, the right hand isn't really important yet. So my focus when we start playing chords is really on getting these switches down, and then we can start to do a bit more with rhythm. Okay, so we're gonna try to put all of this together. We might not, you might not be there yet. So this might just be an example, or you might be there already, and that's awesome. Maybe you played a little bit of guitar before this. So let's try it. So I'm gonna count one bar in. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna try this whole chord progression that we just built up a couple times in a row. And follow along if you can, or try this later by yourself. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. That's the whole thing. 3, 4 to G. G. 2, 3, 4. E minor. 2, 3, 4 to C. 1, 2, 3. D7. Cool. One more time. I'm going to add some more rhythm. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, I didn't add rhythm. 2, 3. We'll do that next. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. So if that's all going well, if the left hand stuff is going well, I would love to try some rhythms. I want to say before that, so if you're practicing this on your own, a good rule for myself that I want to share is that if I mess this up like 3 times, and if I'm like 1, 2, 3, oh dang, and I couldn't quite get to my chord, I'm gonna slow it down after a couple mistakes, So really, if we can find our pace where we can still keep it in time but switch chords, then I think we're learning well. So you can always bring it slower. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. So if you find yourself making a lot of mistakes, either go back to just changing between 2 of them, or go back to a slower tempo. 2 and 3 and 4. But yeah, any of the steps leading up to this, you can loop back around, and it can help you be better at it. Okay, I do want to try some rhythms though. Before we get all wrapped up. So simple rhythm to try. We're gonna count to 4, but we're gonna clap on 1, and we're gonna say to end, and clap on that end. So it's gonna go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. It's probably loud, huh? 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. I missed it there. One more time. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. I recommend clapping a rhythm before trying to play it. I think it helps settle it without confusing your hands. So this can still be 2 downstrokes. So you can still go down and then down. So I'm going to try to play that progression instead of clap it now. Or I'm going to play that rhythm over the progression instead of clapping it now. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 Awesome. One more idea with rhythm I want to get into is trying to play quarter notes through this, because that's more what you do. You end up filling more space in usually with guitar. So first thing to do is we played on 1 before. Now we're going to play every chord on 1 and 2, and then we're going to skip 3 and 4. But 3 and 4 in that space, it's going to give us time to switch to the next chord. So, example, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 2 beats to switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got those 2 beats to switch. And then we're going to shrink that gap. So let's do a couple passes through this. So play on 1 and 2. Keep the chord progression exactly the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 without counting. Okay, let's take it up a notch, and we're gonna play on 1, 2, and 3, and we're just gonna leave out 4. So it gives us 1 beat to switch. This will make you a lot better at getting your chords switched quickly. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Last one we're gonna play on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're not gonna have much time to switch at all. This might be too hard. It might be too hard at my speed. So I would say either write this down or think about this process. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. If you want to play along, that's okay. If you just want to listen and get the idea, that's fine as well. So chord on every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, all went well, like if you can do a chord in each beat, I'm going to suggest trying to play eighth notes, which means we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so we're keeping the same harmonic rhythm. So we're changing chords at the same time, but we're just doubling up the amount of strums that we do. And this can be all downs, you know, and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But this is the time I really suggest to start playing down followed by an up. Because when you play two downs, you still have to come up anyway. So if I go down, down, I'm really going down, up. So there's an up in there. So if you're using a pick, it's down and then up with your pick. It's still this almost doorknob turning motion, kind of like this. If I've just been going down with my thumb, I don't usually go up with my thumb. If I go down with my thumb, if I'm doing eighth notes, I'll go down with my pointer or fingernails, the backs of my fingers, and then up with my thumb. So I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but it's still this doorknob turning motion. So this might be a lot for brand new players, but I want to leave you with this because I think this is good stuff. I think this leads to some guitar playing that you're used to hearing. So I'm going to do the same progression, but I'm gonna play 1 or all down ups, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and just like that. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2. Thing about that is not hitting the lower strings. So that needs us to be a little bit more accurate about how we swing our hand. Which I think it comes. But cool. So you can use a capo to change keys if you need. So say we have our 1-6-4-5 progression in G, but the song is in A. So I don't know where my capo is, but if you have a capo, it's a clamp that changes keys for you by shortening your string. So you can put a clamp on fret 2 or that capo and play the same chords in relation to that capo, and you've changed your key. So between some basic open chords and a capo, I think you have a lot of songs open up to you, and especially if you have some good easy structural rhythms you can play. You can get a lot of music making done. Yeah, but these chords are a great start, and I want to mention that typical guitar playing actually uses full 4, 5, or 6 string chords usually. So these are a great start. But I think if you want to continue, any guitar teacher here can help you learn the full forms of these chords, and as well as many more, so you can continue to play songs you enjoy, and possibly write some of your own songs as well. So, if you want to go in that direction, I think you can contact the school, and they can hook you up with a good teacher. So yeah, have a great day, and happy playing.